You're listening to America First with Sebastian Gorka, former strategist to President Donald J. Trump.
I don't know why, but for some reason, the theme from Hawaii Five-0, the original Five-0, always puts me in a good mood. And that's one of the reasons we're playing it right now. We don't need some cheesy fanfare. We need to be in a good mood for some great news. It's official. It's happened. There is hope for New York State. Why? Because a great patriot, he is a man who has worn the cloth of the Republic in combat, representative for the 1st Congressional District of New York, has decided it's time for a new governor, Lee Zeldin. Congratulations on your big decision.
Hey, thanks, Seb. Yeah, we were just on together talking about this a couple days ago, and we jumped all in this morning. Made the announcement, launched the website, the social media, the emails, the texts, and I'll tell you what, while there's a lot that went out this morning, there's been a lot coming back of really positive feedback. The support, if the last few hours, if it is indicative of how the next few weeks and months are going to go, and it's time between now and November 2022, I'm feeling really good about our chances here in New York. The response has been amazing. I thank you for all of your support, your listeners. You guys have been fantastic.
Well, this is a guy I campaigned for when he was a lowly congressman. Now he's going for the governor's mansion in the state of New York. He almost didn't make it on the show today because he had so many incoming texts. I texted him, no response, and I just thought, maybe I'll just send him a question mark. And he saw that text and he responded straight away. Can you tell us?
So happy you did.
Is there some commonality? Is there some thread to the feedback you're already receiving since you made the announcement today? What kind of messages or what kind of expressions are you getting from all the people who are so happy?
New Yorkers want to save our state. We just saw this week up in Albany, they passed the largest income tax rate in the United States of America. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to pay for a multi-billion-dollar fund for people illegally in our country. Now, their view is that taxes have no effect on behavior. Their view, when you say that people are fleeing the state, they'll say, I don't believe you, show me the proof. So what you do when you raise the income tax rates for someone who's a mobile New Yorker, instead of raising their taxes because you're causing them to flee, you actually just reduce their income taxes to zero because they're leaving the state. Yeah. So the commonality is about what you're seeing right now with the policy, what you're seeing with all the scandals with Andrew Cuomo. It's the public safety that's been under attack. Our kids not yet fully back in school. We're seeing other states where there's more tax freedom, where there's more personal individual liberty, where there's more public safety. And a whole lot of New Yorkers are looking at what's happened elsewhere and saying, why can't we have that here? Why do we have to live under one-party Democratic rule at every level of government? It's not working for us. And that's feedback, by the way, that applies not just to Republicans or independents, even Democrats, too. Yeah. They're not happy with seeing rising violence and turning your back on law enforcement. It's something that makes a lot of Democrats say, hey, I feel like my party is leaving me.
Yeah. So right now, he's already got his website, zeldinfornewyork.com. I love when you hit on that URL, all these massive letters, join Team Zeldin and fire Cuomo. Lee is running for New York governor to fight back against Cuomo's corruption and reverse our state's decline. Check it out. I support this man. You should support him too. Even if you're not a New Yorker, this is exactly the kind of citizen politician we need, and we got to save New York. That's zeldinfornewyork.com. On that question of corruption, I have to, we can talk about all kinds of things, the people fleeing New York, the national security issues, the domestic threats, but there's this latest report, Lee. Cuomo's office was ordered by Cuomo to quietly track the deaths of the senior citizens that he had sent to those nursing facilities to die. They were tracking the data, Congressman Zeldin, and hiding it.
Yeah, and right around the time, not coincidentally, of that, Governor Cuomo is scoring himself a multi-million-dollar book deal to self-congratulate himself on his leadership and accept an Emmy Award for his COVID leadership, and it stinks to high heaven. And Governor Cuomo's story was that the reason why more information wasn't being provided, that there wasn't more transparency, was that they were too busy. But he wasn't too busy, I guess, to write this self-congratulatory book. Now, what's the right answer after this bad policy and you realize just how bad it is? It's a high-profile public change. You account for it. You apologize for it. You're transparent about it. You show remorse. But instead, the play call was to cover it up.
Yeah.
And now there are criminal investigations underway because of that cover-up.
Now, some people are going to say it's too late for New York. The corruption, the taxation, the crime, the filth. I look at New York City and I see how Giuliani bought it back from the mayors before him, Dinkins and others, and Koch. Tell us about how you could do. What's your visions for doing the same for the state, not just for Manhattan?
Hey, first things first, we have to work hard, taking nothing for granted. This applies to anyone listening in any state around this country. If you care enough about your country and freedoms and economy, then you obviously, if you're listening to Seb Gorka's show, then you're someone who is not frustrated into complacency. You're motivated to want to do something about it. You haven't given up yet. So we need to campaign hard here in this state, all across the state. No county is too big or too small to campaign in, and you have to earn that vote. But it's not too late. It's too late if I'm not in this race. If we just wave the white flag and surrender, and this was a point that was in my announcement video, you might as well just turn the lights off.
Yeah.
But that's not the New York grit, the spirit that we have with this campaign. We are fighting for everything that is right now, and I believe that there are a lot of New Yorkers who are going to be with us in this effort, and that we will win November 2022.
You can follow him on Twitter at Lee Zeldin. This is Congressman Lee Zeldin for the 1st Congressional District of New York. It's official. He teased it on our show that he's going to run for governor to get rid of Andy Cuomo, and he's done it. It's official today. The website is zeldinfornewyork.com. Sign up today. Support him. Make a donation. But Lee, it's more than just money, isn't it? I'm sure you want volunteers across the state, correct?
You can volunteer at zeldinfornewyork.com. You can sign up for mobile updates. You can text Lee to 484848. There are many ways to stay engaged. You just mentioned social media, and there are ways to help spread the message where you're just with your smartphone. So you could be listening to this right now, and maybe you don't even live in New York, but maybe you have relatives that are in the state. You know others. Everyone can assist this cause because there are people who don't even register to vote.
Yeah.
There are people who register to vote, but they don't get informed. They don't show up. They don't fight for everything that matters. And what you get left with is one-party Democrat rule at every level, and they're destroying every level. And that is not something that's acceptable to you or I, and that's why we fight, and that's why we have to win.
How hard was it to make that decision, Congressman?
Hey, I analyzed this from about 100,000 different angles, and when I say I made phone calls around the state, I mean 62 New York County Republican Party chairs, because I needed to make sure that everyone everywhere was all in, and that people are motivated, encouraged, and the feedback was that they do feel like this is a last stand. They do feel like it's a last great opportunity to save the state. I agree. I feel the same way. But making all those calls, it took some time, but I'm happy I did it.
And it's possible. You've got a minute. Convince the millions of listeners to this show, including in New York, why you can do it. What your experience on Capitol Hill in the uniform of the U.S. Army has taught you, Congressman.
It's the will to fight. It's the will to win and never give up. Never take anything for granted. Stay true to your passion, your beliefs, your principles. Form a great team. And make the most of every minute of every day. Listen, people don't have to tune into your show. They just move on in our lives, not pay attention to what's going on. But what we get as a consequence is just even more power, and they try to get super majorities in these legislatures, and the economy and public safety and freedoms, everything is under attack right now. So the way that we're going to win is by fighting, not taking anything for granted, working hard all throughout this entire state, no county too big or too small. Right attitude, all in, we're going to win.
And we've got the battle cry for his campaign. We've been working all night. Here you go.
From the last plane to the last bullet to the last minute to the last man, we fight! We fight! We fight! We fight! We fight! We fight!
Text LEAD to 484848. Go to zeldinfornewyork.com. He's going to make it happen. We got to save it. I'm Sebastian Gorka. This is America First.